Hey, good day, everybody. Here I am today with our special guest, Maria Maloof, and I hope I have her name correctly spelled today and pronounced. And we're so excited to have her here. We did have a little bit of a mishap with the internet last time, but we're on the game today. As you know, with Eat the Sun, Drink the Moon, we talk about all things to do with women, how we live out our blissful, balanced life, and how we get everything, beauty, business, and body all in one, so that we enjoy our life to the fullest. So the guests that we're going to be having are people who have done it all, who do it beautifully, and can share with us how they have lived their life in the most authentic way, and that is Maria today. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about Maria. Maria is a United States Marine veteran. Who would know that? She's just gorgeous and strong. She served during the Gulf War. After stints in sales, commercials, and print advertising and community theater, she founded and operated her own event planning company for 13 years, where she had the privilege of designing and executing some of Miami's premier galas and parties for the Miami elite. She's my kind of girl. I love that. She's a wife, she's a mother, and passionate volunteer who wishes to now stop and smell the roses, loving me just for me. And that is so beautiful, because we are all about self-care and taking back our self-care. Maria, welcome to Eat the Sun, Drink the Moon.
Thank you for having me.
Okay.
I'm happy to finally get it technologically correct so we can do this.
Well, we've got it all on very, very well today. Your artwork in the back is beautiful. I really love it. Watercolor, right?
Acrylic, actually.
Acrylic? Oh, wow. It's beautiful, beautiful. Maria, tell us why your mantra is loving me, that whole mantra. How did you come up with that? When did you kind of like it latch onto you?
Sincerely, because I'm being authentic, last year.
Okay.
Last year, it's like God flipped a switch and said, stop this manic way of living your life. And it's mainly because I spent a couple of decades just trying to figure me out. And I think that's why I've had like quite this, quite a career of various businesses that I've attempted. And I used to look at that and go, why do I keep changing my mind? But I think it's because I'm full of passion. I'm very authentic and genuine. And I think I have a lot of different talents. And so what I finally figured out is I don't have to keep trying to chase something to prove myself for others. I need to just kind of stop and go, enjoy what God has given you, take your time and enjoy your family, the nice things that you have in your life. And it's okay if you evolve and you transform and you reinvent yourself. Because all along the way, I think casting a little bit of good as I go.
Okay, so that's fantastic. That's beautiful. When you actually started to live that way, how did it feel? Did it feel blissful? Did you feel like you arrived? Did you feel guilty? How did you accept this of yourself?
I was so overly committed in my volunteer work. And I finally went, you know what? I'm giving up my business. I'm giving up most all of my volunteering, and I am just going to focus on family, home, and myself. I think I felt guilty for about 2 weeks, and then I've never felt happier. I get emotional about it because it was so difficult for me to stop, but my home life feels so much better. I feel healthier. My children are like so happy to have their mom fully engaged with them. And what I decided was, I have one chance at this, and I can't mess this up for them. While I'm doing good for other people, I need to make certain that my children have all of me and my husband. And I feel very rewarded and grateful that I have that opportunity.
Wow, so that really, for all of us, it's a choice that we make. It's a choice. So you make a choice, and then you decide to action on that choice, and that's how it works. Because if you keep trying to wait for the perfect moment, the perfect time, and map it all out, you delay making that decision and living in it.
It was not an easy decision, but it was the right decision. And I don't feel like I'm sacrificing anything, which is what's so beautiful about it all, because it doesn't mean that I can't give back ever. It just means I needed to create some balance in my life. And so I literally just finished an event for an organization that I'm very passionate about this past Saturday. It's Christie House. It's an organization that serves over 1,100 children a year. They've served over 20,000 children since their inception. And what they do is they provide wraparound services, free services for children and their families who've suffered from sexual abuse. So I'm proud to say we just raised $680,000 so we can continue treatment for these precious, precious souls here in Miami. But again, that just takes up a tiny bit of my time. Most of it is focused on these precious little boys of mine, and I no longer feel overtired or overstressed. And that's really what life is about, you know, finding that balance. But it took me 46 years.
How old are your children? How old are your children?
I have a precious 11-year-old boy who's in 6th grade, and then I have a handful but darling 7-year-old son who's in 2nd.
Oh wow, that's a perfect time when they're going through their own transitions. Your son who's 11 going to start going through puberty, and they really need you at that time.
They need me, yes.
They need you. I love what you're saying, because a couple of years ago I decided to close my health and fitness club that I had for like 20-something years. And everybody thought I was absolutely crazy. I was doing so many things, running a restaurant, a gym, private training, coaching. I was doing a lot of things, and I had 3 boys. And I just thought, I'm doing them all well, but I'm not doing me well.
Yes.
I'm not doing me well. Otherwise, other people didn't believe that, because I still did me well on the outside. But I was thinking there's got to be a kind of a, let's slow down the train bit. And so I decided to close. So I understand exactly what you're saying. And people kept on asking me, are you sure you closed? Are you sure not going back again? Do you feel guilty? They were giving me all the negatives about it, but I tried to focus on the positives of why I actually did it. And it took me so long to do it. And it was the best thing I ever did. It wasn't easy at the beginning, because I had to, you know, focus on the reason why and enjoy it. Yes, and enjoy it, right? Because you have to enjoy it, and then you give yourself permission to enjoy that time with your family and being present for them.
Yes.
Not another.
Well, seeing them be happy
Yes.
was my new reward. Before, I was looking for the high of creating a beautiful event.
Right.
And then it was like my joy has shifted, and it's a purer and richer joy. And the way I look at it is, this is just for a time, because once they grow a little more, I get to reinvent myself again. You know, I have dreams of writing a book. I have other dreams I wish to fulfill. It's just, I feel like God is saying, wait, not right now. This is where I want you. And there's no greater peace than that feeling for me.
I love that, because you know what I want the ladies out there to hear is that you're saying that I made that decision. It's a wonderful decision, but I haven't left the world. I still have hopes and dreams and ambitious things that I want to do, and I will do them. It's not that you've given up and just lay down and play dead. You are actually living.
Right, because we have to fulfill ourselves so that we're whole for our families, right? And but I'm getting that from being able to have lunch with my friends, being able to volunteer in their schools. So, you know, I haven't stopped living, and I continue dreaming, because my mind, it's always in motion. And so what I'm doing is I'm just charting a path for future while I take care of what I need to right now. And I like it.
I think it's wonderful. And I want to ask you another question here too. You said it took you 46 years. So what would you say to your
slow study?
So what would you say to your younger self 20 years before? What would you say?
Sometimes right around birthday time, I get stuck in that little rut of, "Ugh, I coulda, shoulda, woulda." And I don't want to keep doing that to myself. But if I were to go back to my 20-something self, I would say, don't be so hard on you. Don't live for others. Live for you. I felt guilty that I wasn't one of these career professionals, you know, so-called like a doctor, an attorney, or a banker, what I thought I needed to be. I always thought outside of the box. I've always been very creative and theatrical, and I thought I wasn't good enough. And I wish I would have realized how beautiful those things are, those unique qualities about me are, and how other people do appreciate them. But that's not what matters. What matters is that I make myself happy, that I'm comfortable with myself. And I think a lot of young women do that. They're living for others or what society says you need to be, or they feel uncomfortable in their own skin. And I remember that I was a lot thinner, you know, had less wrinkles, less gray hairs, but I like me more now because I realize what's important. And I look inward more than outward. And it's nice to feel comfortable in your own skin.
And I think that we don't want to go back to our older selves to make that comparison, because now we have more wisdom and we have more confidence in ourselves as a person, as a woman, and our place in the world. But then you make comparisons to others. You're actually taking piece of other people and not being your true self, which no one really says that to you. I think in this generation that we're in right now, or this era, it is about self-care and really embracing that. And it doesn't feel like it's something that's really fluffy or flaky or bad. It's actually people are aspiring to, yes, I want my self-care,
Yes.
and I deserve my self-care. And when I benefit, my whole family benefits and my friends benefit because I'm happy and I bring more to the table.
Well, I remember that when I was young, you know, I was always into beauty and fashion. Even when I was in the Marine Corps, I mean, I can remember having a captain before he'd go out on a date saying, I need you to go buy a tie for me and dress me. So, you know, people were always calling on me for these little talents of mine. And I used to think, oh my God, they just think I'm so prissy. But now I realize, no, how amazing, because I get to give back to my friends when they're feeling down or they need help getting ready for something. I get to make women, and some of the ones that I'm closest to, feel good about themselves. That makes me feel good. You know, focusing on beauty doesn't always have to be a superficial negative thing. And, you know, I think it's okay to want to be the best that we can be, both inward and outward. And if I can help someone and encourage them along the way, that gives me lots of joy as well.
That is fantastic, because, you know, we devalue or value ourselves based on people's perceptions of our beauty or our looks. And I remember that Brene Brown was saying something about, you wonder if you're showing up smart if you make yourself attractive. And so there was an era where we were all trying to figure out to make ourselves look very masculine or not as attractive, to be heard, to be seen. And I like that you can be beautiful. But Dorothy and I, we love that. And I love that about Dorothy as well. What we want is for people to have joy in beauty. And it's everybody has a different kind of beauty, but you should.
Yes.
Yes, if it brings you joy.
And they're all to be celebrated.
Yes, and it's the feminine. I know I lived for years doing in my masculine energy, and I really missed my feminine energy because it was put aside, because I felt that I had to validate myself in that way. And it really, I would say, it damaged me internally for me to always have to be in masculine energy when I really enjoyed the beautiful things and beautiful surroundings and things that I was used to doing from since I was in my teens. And I put it aside, and then I thought, wow, when I took it back, I thought, I'm happy to do all of it and enjoy the beauty as well. So I'm glad that you mentioned that. Another question I have for you is, as you've been an active volunteer, and I know you told us about the organization that you are working with the children, is there anything that you would like us to do, like give us a link or tell us how we can help? Or what do you do? Because there's lots of people want to do philanthropy and do more in the world and do good. How does someone go about doing that without, when they feel their plate is full? How can they start?
What a beautiful and thoughtful question. Thank you for posing that to me. Donations. You know, if there's two ways to volunteer. You can donate of your time, your money, to be frank.
Yes.
And so if you don't have the time to devote, making the donation to a cause that you find important, because there's so many worthy causes. There's so many people that devote so much of their time to things that are important to them. I would say, please find what's important to you. And it doesn't have to be a lot. You know, you have the people that can donate $250,000 to a cause, but if all you can donate is $25, guess what? That $25 adds up. It does make a difference. And it feels good to know, hey, I did something for someone besides myself.
And that is a part of being grateful and giving, not worrying about whether you're giving a lot, but the fact you've given with all your heart and it's going somewhere. Because I know as we get older, we want to do more, but how do we separate ourselves from doing more and giving more of our time as well? And most of us will certainly give money, but we wonder whether it's enough. But we would like to give time and get involved, but we don't want to be pulled in to not being very good at it.
Well, it's when you find an organization that speaks to your heart, I think that it doesn't feel like they're robbing you so much of your time.
Right.
And so some organizations need more of you, other organizations need less of you. And I think it's important that you communicate when you're looking or you're seeking to get involved with someone, that you express how much time you have to give. And I will tell you, from being involved in so many different capacities, typically in fundraising, but I'm involved so deeply in the organizations that I understand how they operate, they're happy to accept whatever someone can give to them. And if I could elaborate on that a little more, the way I first became involved in volunteering was I was stationed in Okinawa, Japan. I was 23 years old. I felt like I had been stripped from my homeland and I was 10,000 miles away from home and felt very lonely. And I started to get depressed, and my father said, stop feeling sorry for yourself and go volunteer. You would be surprised, Maria Reddig at the time, that if you would focus on others, you're not going to feel so down. And I listened to him, and I went to a home for disabled children that were orphaned, and they were so precious, so loving, that it's true. I forgot about me and I focused on others. And I think when you live with a heart of gratitude, you start to feel really, wow, I'm blessed. You don't focus on what's wrong in your life. You focus on what's good and how you can make it better for somebody else. And I really think that for at least the past 15 years, I've really focused on living that way.
Okay, thank you so much for that, because I do volunteer for a lot of different things. And I found myself personally that when I always say yes, and I think I haven't got the time. And actually, when I'm actually with, whether it's the young girls or inspiring other people or for schools, lots of things I do, I actually make more time than I thought I had, because I'm enjoying it so much. And I forget about the things that I have to do. And it feels weird to say, okay, I'm only going to be here for an hour. And I end up staying like 3, 4, 5 hours and volunteering other things. And it makes me feel very joyous that I've done that and made the decision to let things fall away and give them my authentic 100% energy and time.
Yes. And you build a social network within that volunteer group as well. And it's nice to have a camaraderie, a sisterhood with other women that have the same passions as you do. But I will say, in being genuine, that sometimes it's not fun. Sometimes it's really hard work. And Dorothy could certainly attest to this, because when you're in the events business, it's a lot of stress. And oftentimes I'm handling the charitable events for them. And you know, you're dealing with lots of different personalities, really low budgets, and you're trying to make something magnificent with small funding. But just like the other day, I was feeling a little tired from the event, and I sat there and I heard a survivor speak She told her story. It was totally impromptu. This was not anything that we had planned. She wanted to get up and talk, and we let her have the floor. And when I heard her story, I went, oh,
yeah,
this is why. This is why I sometimes have to sacrifice a little bit of time, because I can give back in this way. And it makes being tired or a little stressed really worth it. Really, really worth it.
Because she had the courage and the bravery to come up and do that. And
well, you see where your work is going, the dollars that you're earning, so that people can heal. And you know, that's beautiful.
That's beautiful. As we're talking about sisterhood, in our work, our goal is to have myself and Dorothy call ourselves universal sisters, and now you're one of our universal sisters.
Thank you, I love it.
All over the world, globally, we're all connected as women and mothers and wives and business owners and everything. So I feel that we need to support each other and surround ourselves with amazing women to actually help grow us into our full being, rather than thinking, instead of being negatives, focus on people who are doing, who don't want anything from you, but that you can rub off shoulders, and some magic from you, some magic from me. And when you're feeling down, I'm feeling up, and we kind of uphold each other. So that's why we're trying to do events that are going to be amazing for women, other like-minded women. But one of the questions I had in regard to that, can you tell me your 3 things? If you have more, that's okay. 3 things that you would say definitely have you live this blissful life balance that you have. And what does that balance mean to you?
Like the 3 things that are most important to me in life?
The most important things that keep you balanced, that you always go, that reground you, so you know that you have to do these particular things when you're feeling life is just like really pulling you along, even though you've chosen where you are right now. There must be those days when you feel challenged.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The difference is that now I have the time to figure out how to fix myself when I'm in my rut. And I will tell you, it's one particular thing, not 3, that really draw me out of it, and it's my faith.
Wow.
It's my strong faith in God. And I spend time in prayer when I find that I have to rebalance myself. And then secondly, I would say my family and my friends. They certainly keep it real for me. And I have people that are so precious and so dear to me and so real, and, you know, encouragers that, you know, remind me when I need to get out of my ruts, because we all get in them. Life isn't perfect and life is hard, but, you know, definitely my faith, family, and friends.
That's fantastic. I love that. So when you go back to your faith, you actually go back to yourself, because that's the connection. You go back to yourself and your higher power, whether it's God.
You're looking inward.
Yeah, anything.
Inward and upward.
Same, yeah, because part of all the 3. So when you go back to that faith, you go back to yourself and get regrounded.
Absolutely.
And
it causes me to refocus on what's genuinely important. Like let go of the ugly and focus. And again, it's that heart, living with a heart of gratitude.
Yeah, because
and so
women
when you're
right
focused,
now,
you can be grateful.
Yeah, because women struggle right now with trying to be maybe financials, it might be hormones, it could be worrying about your children, whether you're doing enough, then your business, then you've got aging parents. There's a lot of things going on.
Oh, it's so much.
It's a lot of things going on, and we're expected to excel at everything. And that's why it's really important, the self-care, because then you're in a stronger position to make decisions without having to enable everybody to always depend on you. They can trust you'll be there, but when you get depleted, you have nothing else to give.
Yes.
And
which is why I had to stop. Yeah. I stepped down from some boards, and I just went, you know what, I have to regroup, because I'm not living wholly anymore, and I can't give well when I'm not taking care of me.
Well, Maria, thank you so much for this this conversation today, because I prefer to think of these as conversations rather than just shows, so that people outside, the women watching, can see that they're not really alone. And you can be beautiful and be a designer and a mom and a wife and anything else you want to be. No, there's no one to judge you but you. And
right.
if other people judge you, that's just their perception or their fear of what they're not doing. So you just grab what's yours.
I liked what you were saying about encouraging each other. I wish that women would do that more, that they would feel comfortable in other women's successes and lifting each other up. I love to be around women, encouraging women. You know, we should care about each other and be kinder to each other more.
And I think it's, I love that. This is my whole life. That's all I've done is really support women and girls growing up, emerging entrepreneurs. And I think it's done out of fear.
I agree with you.
Being left behind when someone is moving forward, you're being left behind, you can't see where you're going. But if you come as your real self instead of your pretend self, then you can ask those questions. You can confide in people and know and trust them. Surround yourself with people that you know that are good for you. And the others doesn't mean that they're bad. It's just they're not the right fit right now, and maybe they'll evolve later, and that's okay.
That's so beautifully stated. Now I see why you do what you do.
Yes.
I want to hear more of that.
It's the truth, because I never let people go to the side, because sometimes people are not the right for me. And even when I've had clients I've coached and they're not ready yet, and that's okay. Then 5 years later, they're ready. And what I want to say to them and what I want to share with them, they won't get it. Like you're saying, self-care, take care of yourself, stop, make a choice with your family. Some people will not get that at all because their mindset will not be there. But maybe 5 years from now, 2 years from now, they'll have some sort of life-changing direction, and they'll say, now I know what Maria was saying because I'm there now. So
absolutely.
So ladies, if you're out there, don't throw everything out, baby, with the bathwater, because your time will come where you will yearn for something, or something will feel missing. It could be now, it could be next week, everything could be perfect for you. Not saying it's going to be bad, but I'm just saying that do what you can to go inward to yourself. That's what I'm saying. So today, Maria, thank you so much. Ladies, we're going to post Maria's website. I'm going to post the charity's name so you can go and check it out and take a look, contribute if you can. And from Eat the Sun, Drink the Moon, I'm so happy that we had this moment with Maria. And it's a beautiful experience for me as well. And we'll be seeing more of her, and we'll see you at our events. So until next time, thank you so much. Maria, do you have any closing words that you would like to say?
Love each other and love you.
Okay,
Simple.
Thank you. All right, everything done with love. Until next time, eat the sun, let it give you that energy. Drink the moon, which brings out your mystical magic. Until next time, thank you so much for joining us.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.